Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So in this video today I want to talk to you about my landscape photography journey, where I started and to where I am now. When I first got into landscape photography, I was very new to it. I was a motorsports photographer before that, professional. I knew what I was doing with motorsports, but when it came into landscape photography I knew nothing. I didn't understand what filters were, the only filters I used to use was a polarizer. So I never heard of an ND filter, never knew what it was for. I knew it sort of slowed down, or you could get make the scene darker, but I didn't know what it was for. So what I'd done was I went down to my local beach. I took my G7X Mark II down and started taking some photos. Now I didn't really know what I was taking photos of. I just know I wanted to take a photo. So I'd maybe see some lines in the ground of the sandstone and go, right, I quite like that, take a photo. And I put it on a tripod because I knew that I needed to use a tripod from landscape photography. Today I don't think it's as important, but it's still important. It depends on what you're shooting. And I do find using a tripod does slow you down, but it can be in a negative sense as well. It's just finding those times when it's good for you. But anyway, back to when I started. So yeah, I had no idea about filters really. So what I'd done is I went on eBay and I bought the cheapest set of filters. And yeah, I bought this. They're made by Newer. Don't know what stop that could be. Maybe it's a 3-stop. It looks like a 4-stop or something like that. And then I would also have the Grads. So I got this. You can see it's got a really bad purpley tinge to it. Not great filters. Actually, they're really poor filters. I don't even know what they're made of. I think they're like a plastic, or they're not even a resin. I think they're probably Perspex or something like that. But yeah, I was actually in a very fortunate position. I had an Instagram account that was growing and that allowed me to work with some companies and some shops, and I was able to have access to camera gear. So that was actually something that I'm going to bring up early on, because I think it's very important. So I had I was shooting on a 1300D and a G7X Mark II. I thought gear was the answer. I thought gear would make my photos a lot better than what they were. And so I hired out this Hasselblad H60 50C, which is a body, I think it's a camera that's about $28,000. And then I had a lens on it, which I think was a 28mm. I've actually got one of those lenses now. But yeah, and that was about $12,000 lens. So all I'd be looking at about $40,000 worth of setup. Yeah, I took these photos and I thought they were really good. Looking at them now, because I got the images on the screen to my left here, they're cringeworthy. They're really bad. I took them at the bad times of the day. You know, I had no idea about when was the right time to shoot and what was the good times to bad times to shoot. I just took photos, and part of me thinks that's a bad thing. I didn't know when to take photos, but also it's a good thing because I was able to learn the reasons why it was a bad thing and why it was a good thing. You know, so yeah, taking photos directly into the setting sun when it's too high up in the sky, what does that do to the scene? I didn't really know what it was doing at the scene because I hadn't learned. I just saw this scene and went, oh yeah, that's a really nice photo, a really nice scene. Today I can still do the same sort of stuff, but I've got better experience and a better understanding, and I can, it depends on the look I'm going for. But back then, I had no idea what I was really doing. I had no idea what I was doing. There's no really about it. And yeah, I just kept taking photos. Experimented, had a go using ND filters. So instead of buying the expensive ones in the shops, like we said with these filters, these are just very cheap things. I ended up buying a 10-stop filter, another Zomnief one, an unbranded thing. I've actually still got it somewhere in one of my cases around here on one of my storage things, and I put that on my camera and started taking some photos with that, and It allowed me to understand, and kind of hazy, but it's all a part of the process. And yeah, there's a lot of photos in here which you will see which are cringeworthy, which are bad. There's no context, there's no story, there's no and it's also badly processed. There were times when I would edit images and really change the colour of the scene, because the reason why I done that is because I was heavily influenced by what other people were doing, you know. And I think that's probably something that we do when we're starting out. You can either be a part of the crowd where you follow everyone else and you do their stuff, and that's what I was actually. I was sort of one of those people. Now I'm not. I don't do that. And the reason why is I've developed my style. I've developed the way I work and what I like. Sure, I get influenced by people, but I don't get influenced in the same way. I'll get influenced by going like, oh, I see what they've done there. I'll have a go, but on my own way. I find something that means something to me, and then photograph it and try and work out how to do it, and most likely come out with a different result, or better than why, you know, my inspiration was. But back then it was, I had no idea what I was doing, and I wanted to create something that I was proud of, but I had to copy someone else's methods and other photographers' work to get something that I was happy with, to get those endorphins and get that kick. But the problem with that is it only happened short term, and then it'll always end up, I think the cycle, there's a thing with photographers, anyone creative actually, you go through stages of depression throughout the year, and you go, and you get to it and you look at what everyone else is doing and you go, my photography's bad. Why am I doing this? You know, this is, why am I putting stuff out there that is garbage compared to everyone else? But what you don't seem to think about is they're only putting out the best work that they're doing. They're not sharing their worst. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my worst images. Some that I think is cringeworthy. You might like them. But, you know, it's, yeah, how my style's changed, and using filters and using and learning photography. You know, I used to organise, I want to get back into it, organising meetups and workshops that were free. And we would go out, like, up to the pinnacles and shoot some astro for a bit of fun. And I've really enjoyed that, and I really want to do some more of. I want to do more of those, because it keeps my ambition and my drive for photography alive. Now, I have been doing photography for a very long time. I'm 32. I started when I was 4. I got my first film camera when I was 4 years old, and ever since then I've been hooked on photography. So, photography isn't something that is new to me, and it's always going to be something that's going to be a part of me. It's always going to have that place in my life where I need it, because I've tried to go without photography and I don't end up well. So photography looks after me, and photography gives me a sense of belonging in my own bubble, so to speak. When I'm creating, I feel like I'm actually, yeah, it's I'm actually creating something that means meaning to me and gives me direction and is clear and defined. Whereas doing anything else, it's just like, why am I doing this? You know, I could be doing something else and then I'd be moving on. But photography is something that I can sort of do, but I can also improve on, and I can also inspire others and help others and everything. Anyway, I've done so many takes of this. I'm probably on my 20th take trying to get it right. It's a really hard video for me to make, because I could talk about this for ages. I could talk about this for hours. So trying to make it small, a short video, is hard. And I've spoken to other people about this sort of stuff, and you know, we can go on for days just talking about it. So yeah, but in this video I just want to show you my journey, and at the end we're just going to show a slideshow of my work, to so you can actually have a better understanding of where I started and where I am now. And then you can go back through and see the transitions and where it was. I just started, creating work that I enjoyed, and I liked, and I was inspired by. And yeah, it's just I do find with my photography, I prefer being on my own when I'm creating, when I'm learning. I think the reason why is photography is meaningful to me, and I find when I'm with others I can be, it's a bit restrictive, if that makes sense. I feel like I've got to shoot what everyone else is shooting, whereas I'm on my own. If I don't like something, I can move on easily. And and like now when it comes to taking photos, it is quite lonely for me. But it also can be very, very, very nice as well. Like there's times when I'm taking photos and I'm going, I wish our others were here with me and we were enjoying this together and having fun, because it can be very depressing. But then there's other times when I'm out in nature taking photos and I'm going, oh, this is blissful, I'm loving this. And having other people around me would be, I wouldn't be able to draw, soak in what's around me, soak on what's happening. And I probably wouldn't see things as much if I was with other people. And also what I ended up doing as well is I know we're skimming through this because I've done a lot over those years, but you'll see at the end. You'll see my transition. But I started. It took me 3 years before getting a drone, and when I got a drone, I honestly thought that I'd probably use it maybe a couple of times a year. But now, it allowed me, and it's been a slow sort of thing of work, a process where I'm able to use it. I'm able to see the world in a different way, from above, but also use it where I just need just a little bit of elevation, or where I've wanted to take a photo of a subject and I just need to be further over to the left, but if I went further over to the left I would have been in the sea, so I was able to use the drone for that. It's not all about using a drone just to take aerial photos. It can be to take photos of places where you can't get access to, which isn't physically safe to do so. Also flying a drone, you're able to fly in the airspace, so where would be private land where you wouldn't be allowed to go by foot, you can go with a drone. Just there are exceptions, and read up about that for your local area by law. But yeah, just allow me to create some really interesting work. There would be places where I've flown like tailings, for instance, where there is beauty still within. So it might have been churned up and everything, but there is still beauty that nature is providing, if that makes sense. And also what developed from this is I've also learnt to enjoy the travel aspect of it. So I bought myself a rooftop tent. Before I was just camping in a little tent, didn't enjoy it and hated it, but over time I've started getting more and more things and making it more and more comfortable for myself and enjoying it as a part of the process, and I look forward to camping and travelling and getting out there, and it's all a part of the process. And you've got to remember when you're out there taking photos, it's not just about taking the photos, it's everything that's led up to it. It's you looking at places to take photographs, it's you the planning and then going and then getting your gear ready. It's all part of that process, and even driving out to locations and getting, having something to eat and setting up. You might walk away from a scene or location with a failed image, or you might not take an image at all. But don't see that as a bad thing. Don't see that as a failure. Note that you've actually got out and attempted it, because that's a success in my books. And it took me a while to realise that even though I didn't take a photo or I took a bad photo, I thought that was a failure. But it's actually a good thing, because I'd much rather be out there taking photos and having a go than sitting on a computer or sitting at home watching stuff on the TV and not producing anything and not learning. So that's what I do. And yeah, I really enjoy it, and I also try different mediums. I'm trying film these days. I'm trying digital. I'm trying aerial photography. I'm just using a DJI Mini 2 for my aerial stuff. I keep thinking, do I get something better? But when I think of what am I getting that's better, am I going for a slightly bigger sensor and a bit more tonal range, a bit more file info? What am I going to gain from it? And then I go, well, probably not much. So maybe I'll just stick with a drone. And I've created some amazing work with it. I absolutely love it, and I might get another one. They're just that good. I've had mine for almost 2 years, haven't crashed it. Well, I have crashed it, but I haven't written it off. I haven't broken it. But yeah, and I've got some nice stories to tell from it. But yeah. And today I've gone back to locations and shot them again, and created something a bit more meaningful, a bit more, because I've learnt more. I'm using different filters. I've really developed as an artist, and hopefully you'll be able to see that through the transitions of these images, the progression, and what I was taking photos of to where I am now. And hopefully you might be able to see a point where I had this going back and forth with my photography, and then just find that that point where it evens up, and where we continue on, but we go more at an even pace, or an even transition through. There's stuff I still want to do, I want to do more astrophotography, so I've got myself a 6D with an 11 to 24mm lens, do some astro time lapses and stuff, do some stuff out aeroplanes and that. But this is still a part of the journey, and I'm probably going to improve on this as well. And when I say improve, I'm just going to develop my style and just keep learning. There's times now that I've tried to recreate or improve on an image, but I can't, and that's really infuriating to me, because it basically means I've reached a point and I can't go past it. But I'm also seeing that as a challenge, that maybe there's a way that I can improve on that. And that's why I'm actually going to shoot on film as well, because that'll allow me a different insight into taking photographs, and a different process that when it comes to maybe shooting digital as well, I'll be able to, or even, using film is just another medium to shoot on. Digital and film aren't bad. There's no real difference. One is instant, one isn't. One you can edit, one you can't really edit. It's just a recording medium, and that's what I'm learning with photography. Gear doesn't really matter. What matters is what you think, what you create, and your knowledge, your understanding, and your process. And one of my lights has just turned off because it's gone flat and I've done so many takes. But anyway, I think that's probably a good clue to probably end here. Hopefully you enjoy the photos that I'll add, and the transition going from when I started to where I am now. And I'm looking forward to the future, what we create, and bringing you along. I wish I was made videos early on, as I learn, but that's a part of it. That's a part of the learning, and we make mistakes and we have regrets. But the thing is that you don't let those regrets and those failures hold you back. It's learning and improving and going forward. Anyway, I'm glad I've done it in this take, because I've done about 20 takes of this, and getting very sore throat. My batteries are dying. That's died. This probably light is going to die soon, and the camera's about to die as well. But this has been fun. I'm glad I've spoken about it. If you've got any questions, you'd like to ask anything, make sure you pop it down in the comment section. I'll do my very best to get back to you. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, and it really helps out the channel. If you'd like to see more videos, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll know as soon as I drop a new video. Anyway, I'm Simon, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Okay, bye for now.